What's up, guys? Adapark here, and today we're going to talk about ditching players from your raid roster. So we've talked actually quite significantly about sitting players, how you as a player and you as a leader, guild leader, officer, raid leader, whatever the case might be, handle sitting and being sat when it comes to a raid. We've talked about working with players, we've talked about going over things with players and setting expectations, but now we're going to go a step further. There is a player that needs to be dropped from your raid group. So first and foremost, how do we determine when to do this with a player, and what do we do? The short answer is this. If a player or group of players are a detriment to your raid group, and there is no hope of fixing the issue that they have, they need to not be in your raiding roster. Period. So I want to talk about a scenario that I've experienced. I want to share a story with you guys, and then we're going to go into the long answer for this. So I had a guy join my guild during Hellfire Citadel raiding. I think we were doing mythic content, maybe finishing up heroic, but whatever. We're raiding Hellfire Citadel, and we get this guy that joins the guild, melee DPS. And his numbers were low, DPS wasn't great. He would log in late, he would randomly disconnect, he would stand and fire, and overall, not a good player. Nice guy, not a good player. So I followed the steps that I've shared with you guys. We sat down, we talked to him and said, look, here's our expectations. You're not meeting them. We need you to pick it up. We need you to fix this, that, and other. And he didn't. So he said, look, we can't bring you in anymore. You're just not working out. He did the thing where he kind of chilled out. He did, dungeon runs. He talked in guild. He did pet battles. He did LFR. Didn't really do any raiding. Come Legion time frame, he reaches out to me and says, look, I've talked to my wife. I'm in a position where I can and want to raid with you guys again. I fixed all my issues. DPS isn't going to be a problem. I won't stand and fire, whatever. So look, you can have your trial. We have no problem giving you another chance. And we'll get to that here in a second. So he joins the raid group, and DPS starts low. It gets better. He had leveled a ranged DPS character per my request, because that's what my guild needed. And he was doing pretty decent. He was standing in fire at first. We talked to him. He stopped doing that. But the big issue he had was he would log in late, and then he would randomly disconnect. And he would never tell us. We never got a response until 2 days later where he said, internet went out, and it was consistent every week. And after a while, it got to the point where we said, look, we can't have you. The same thing as before. We cannot have you within this group. And I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind, this story, when we're talking about this specific topic. So I've talked to you guys, ironically enough, coincidentally enough, rather, I've talked to you guys about sitting people. I've talked to you guys about working to getting things fixed. Let's go for logs. Here is what you should and shouldn't be doing. Here are the things that I need you to do. I'm always going to be an advocate of doing this, regardless of how hardcore or casual you are, regardless of how many days you raid, regardless of how your guild, your group is set up. Talk to your players. Make sure they know what to expect, and if they are or are not meeting that criteria. But if the things that you have set up as expectations for your players are not being met, if the issues that they have are not being fixed in a timely manner, they need to be dropped. So what is that time frame that you give players to fix their issues? That is not a question that I can answer for you. I can tell you that that time frame that you give players to fix their issues between, hey, here's the problem, and hey, we don't need you anymore, depends on how hardcore you are. Obviously, a mythic-only guild is going to have a much shorter time frame to fix issues than a very, very casual, normal, social hanging out guild. That seriousness level for your guild also plays a factor. If you are one that is totally cool with carrying people and whatnot, then yeah, your time frame for fixing issues is going to be much more significant than a world first, a top tier, guild that is rolling in recruits and rolling in mythic kills and is actively trying to competitively progress. And there's an obvious spectrum here that you guys can definitely see. So more hardcore, less time, less hardcore, way more time that you should be giving your players. But there is a finite amount of it. And if you recognize as a leader that things aren't getting fixed and that others are and should not be carrying a person, let's be clear here. Me and you as a player should not have to carry someone that is unable to pull their weight, regardless. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. Someone rolls an alt, changes their main from an alt, or they just come back from an issue, whatever. Obviously, they need a little bit of help. But we're talking about, a set raider that's simply not meeting expectations. Replace them. Drop them from the group. Get somebody else. You and I shouldn't be carrying them. They should be able to fix their issues if they want to raid within any guild. Doesn't matter if it's my guild, your guild. A raider is a raider and should be able to resolve these issues. Now, before you drop them, let's be clear here. Yes, you should talk to them. You should talk to them and let them know, hey, look, here's the deal. Your DPS isn't high enough. You're standing in fire. You show up late. You leave early every raid night. You aren't doing this. Your attitude isn't what we want. We no longer need you within our raid group. Make sure they are understanding as to why you are dropping them. Now, they are probably going to argue with you. As a player, we don't want to be told, look, you suck, we don't want you. We don't want, who wants that? Who wants to be, felt worthless and crappy and whatnot? Like they're just unwanted. Nobody. But that is the case, that you are not worth our time. You are not on our level, and we do not need you. That is the case. So if and when, and it's more of when, that player argues with you, and they say, that's bullshit. My DPS is fine, and I stand in as much stuff as the next guy. Make sure, and I've said this before, make sure that you are sure before you pull that trigger. But once you do not cave on that player. Don't go, okay, you know what, you're right. We'll bring you into another raid. They've already gotten to that point. And you are very close if you allow them to continue to losing your control and your hold over your raiding group. Because once word gets out that, this guy's still in the raid group, this guy is still being carried, this guy was supposed to be dropped, this guy was dropped, but he was let back in, that's not going to make your raid group happy. People are going to get pissed off, especially those that are on the other end of the spectrum from this poor player. If you have a guy that's, online every day running Mythic Plus and doing all the world quests and he's busting his ass to get as much artifact power and gear, and he is carrying your crappy player on his or her back, and then you say, we're not going to drop him even though we know he's a detriment. Not good. As a player, if I had a leader that did that, I would be looking for a new home, because clearly you don't value my time. I'm putting in much more time and pulling much more weight than this guy, and you're not willing to drop him because, he argued with you. Not good. Very easy to lose control over your guild that way. Very easy to lose, to be a huge detriment to the morale of your raid and the trust of your raid with of your leadership ability, potential, and your command. And I know it sounds stupid, but that's the way these guys think. That's the way raiders think. Is I'm busting my hump, this guy's not, and he continues to be carried. Why should I listen to this raid leader who isn't going to do shit? I won't do mechanics either. Screw it. Why not? That's the mindset, and you guys need to realize that as leaders. So when and if they do argue, and they're probably going to, do not cave. However, if they are able to hold their composure and they don't argue, they don't burn that bridge, maybe be willing to give them another chance. Now, like I said, if you're in that top tier rated guild where you're rolling in the recruits and people that want to join your guild, probably not going to be able to give them another chance. But if you are in a position where you can maybe the next raid tier, I'm not saying next week or next month, the next raid tier, the next expansion where they've had a significant 6 months, a year to kind of work out their issues. If they're still interested, maybe throw them a bone. But it all depends on that attitude to begin with. If they come at you, denying everything and burning that bridge, like I said before, don't do it. But if they're like, you know what, you're right. I'm really not pulling my weight. I need some time to fix my issues. Cool. Come back. When Tomb of Sargeras comes out, and we'll figure it out. We'll work from there. So I need you guys to remember that as a leader, I don't care what time. I don't care what, your guild came out yesterday, you made it yesterday, and you have people ready to raid, or your guild, like mine, has been around forever, and you've been in the guild since, the beginning of time. The goal is not different depending on how old or how hardcore or how much progression your guild has done. Your goal as a leader is to progress within a raid and to build the strongest roster that you can make in order to push progression. I don't care if that progression is normal, heroic, or mythic. If you're killing bosses, that is what you as a leader need to be pushing. And when there is a detrimental player that is not getting better, that's shown no signs of improvement over a significant enough amount of time, and you have let them know that you have expectations that they are not meeting, you need to get rid of them. Like I said, not getting rid of them means that you're going to piss off the rest of the players in your raid group, and they will very quickly learn that they are also able to get away with these things. And then you lose hold of your raid, your guild, etc. Now, with all that being said, hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. Hopefully you agree. If you do, or even if you do not, let me know in the comment section below. I would be interested to see how you guys have seen detrimental players and what was done with them. Let me know. If there's something that you want me to adjust within the videos here, again, comment section below. Everything, I can't tell you guys enough the support that you guys provide, whether it's comments, whether it's thumbs up, whether it's subscribers. It motivates me to continue to make this content. If you want to see something, you got questions about your guild, your group, and you want my 2 cents on it, again, let me know. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.